Today, remember this. You don't have to finish every sentence that runs through your head. If a thought ends with open punctuation, a dash, parentheses, dot, 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 it's totally fine to leave it grammatically incomplete. Because I find that I spend a surprising amount of time in my life fleshing out conversations in my head. Arguments that never happened, defenses to cross examination by an imaginary prosecutor, future scenarios that may never happen. I love that the word that therapists use to describe this is rumination, because that's what cows do to the grass that they eat. They swallow it, they bring it back up, and they chew it some more. Because that's exactly what I'm doing with my thoughts in these situations, over and over. My mind will start a sentence and immediately feel compelled to complete it. It'll go something like, well, if that were the case, then that would mean this. And if that happened, that would mean that, therefore, and so on. And before I know it, I've walked really far down this deductive road that started with remarkably little evidence. The thing is, this can all feel very productive. It can feel like I'm trying to solve a problem, like I'm planning or preparing for the future, maybe even being responsible. But that's the tricky thing here. Sometimes it can be those things. But more often, if I look closely, problem solving and rumination feel a little bit different. Problem solving tends to produce options, but rumination tends to just produce repetition. The same problem, the same concern, the same unanswered question. One of the worst times that I ever did this was in my first month as a new high school teacher. I went on this out of town training workshop with some of the other new teachers. And it was so much fun. Great professional development during the day, making new friends in the evening, sharing horror stories from teaching, all that good stuff. It was the Friday afternoon and we were driving back home and I got this email from the sophomore dean. Apparently, one of my classes had staged a small mutiny with the substitute teacher that I had left to cover for me. Could I meet with the dean on Monday morning? That was it. No other details, just 3 lines. No indication who was being blamed, nothing. It turns out that 3 lines isn't much, but it's more than enough for an anxious mind to come up with a weekend's worth of rumination content. I spent Saturday and Sunday desperately trying to work out which student must have been the ringleader, how I would defend my classroom management from criticism by the dean, how I would explain this strange short employment stint to my next employer when I was back on the job market, because I would surely be losing this job. So Monday morning came. I met with the dean, and in what should be a surprise to no one, especially me back then, the students were blamed. They held a mutiny in class. Looking back on this now, it's very easy for me to see what I was doing all weekend. I wasn't actually making progress. I couldn't. There was nothing that I could actually do. What I was trying to do was eliminate uncertainty. And that's not the same thing as progress. And sometimes it's not even possible. Some problems, some situations just need to be waited out. Because no amount of thinking is going to tell you what somebody else is feeling, what the next month will hold as it unfolds, whether you made the exact right decision. Some problems just need to be waited out. They haven't been answered by life yet. And that's where rumination gets its hooks into me because it promises closure and certainty when it only really actually delivers repetition. So today, remember this: some thoughts are invitations, not obligations. You don't have to finish every thought. A question to take with you: what is one mental loop that you keep running, looking for certainty on, that might just not have certainty available right now? Talk soon.